Music, dance, theater. It's time to take a seat on the aisle with Tom Alvarez. Hear from performers, producers, presenters, and creators who enrich our lives in the performing arts. Who's on stage? Here is Tom Alvarez to introduce you.
Hello, and welcome to On the Aisle with me, Tom Alvarez. My guest on today's episode is musician Shelly Snider, co-founder of Pride of Indy Bands and a donor relations specialist for the Damien Center.
Central Indiana. Wish TV is now live on YouTube TV and Hulu Live, offering more hours of local programming than any other station. Search for Wish TV or look for CW8 on both YouTube TV and Hulu Live to find us. Watch local news, sports, and lifestyle shows live from Wish TV. You can still catch Wish TV free over the air or stream it live on wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile apps. Wish TV, available in more places for the latest news, weather, and sports.
Welcome, Shelley. It's so nice to have you sitting across from me on this blustery winter day. So how are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me today. This weather is something, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, but, you know, it's Indiana weather. Is my growing up in Fort Wayne, I just recall big snowstorms like this all along.
I bet you do.
So our mutual friend, Stephen McCoy,
Yes.
who's been on the show a number of times. Stephen is the current executive director of Indy Men's Chorus.
Yeah.
And, you know, he said at least a couple times, you know, you ought to invite Shelley
Aw.
on your podcast.
I love that.
And, you know, of course, I've run into you around town.
Yeah.
We don't know each other
No.
well, but I'm certainly aware of your position with the Damien
Yeah.
Center. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I know a few things about
Yeah.
you. You were the founder of Indy Pride, the band.
The Pride of
Or
Indy
he
Bands.
was the founder and you were a co-founder?
We were together, yes.
Okay,
So
okay.
he came at it from the Indy Pride side, and I came at it from the other side of it. And so together we helped form the Pride of Indy Bands, which I'm
Okay.
sure we'll go into.
Okay, we're going to get into all that because you've got your fingers in several pies.
I do.
Right?
I do.
Okay, well, you know, you're considered a leader in the LGBT community, but, you know, you've been operating in the mainstream as well.
I
for quite a
have.
long
I
time.
have.
So let's talk about who is Shelly
Sure.
Snider. So let's start. Give me a thumbnail
Sure.
sketch of where you grew up,
Absolutely.
your education, whatever you want to share.
Love to share that.
Okay,
Yeah.
go
So, my name's Shelly Snider. My pronouns are she, her. I was born and raised right here in Indianapolis. So, grew up in Beech Grove, was born in Beech Grove Hospital, and then St. Francis, Beech
Okay.
Grove. Yep.
All right.
And then went to 5 different elementary schools, but did Indianapolis Public School
5?
K through 12,
Whoa,
and
okay, gotcha.
so we had lots of movement in my family. My mom was a United Methodist minister, and we moved around a little bit, which I can talk about more, but graduated from Washington High School over on the near west side, go Continentals, and right in near Hawville, which I think you're familiar with.
It used to be called Little Mexico.
Yes, yeah. So
okay.
grew up over there,
All
and
right.
spent some significant time there, and
You grew up
then
in Hawville,
so
or
when I grew
one of the
when I
Stringtown or
near Rhodius Park.
Okay.
So that's where I spent 7th through 12th grade was in that neighborhood. So learned a lot. My mom's job, you know, she was a United Methodist minister,
where was her church?
she had several churches across the state. And so in Indianapolis, she did mostly inner city churches.
Yeah.
And then when I graduated from high school, her job moved her to Western Indiana. So a little bitty town called Dana, Indiana, which is 4 miles from the Illinois state border. There are 300 people and 6,000 pigs. So I went from inner city Indianapolis to
packing
Dana.
plant there? Is that
Yes,
right?
and it
Okay.
is the home of Ernie Pyle, who was a
Yeah,
World War
that's
II
why I've been
correspondent.
there.
That's
When
probably
when
why.
I worked at Channel 6,
Yeah.
I did a documentary about the statewide Indiana the Indiana State Museum.
Yeah.
And that was one of their sites.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a neat place. They
is
have the
cool,
Ernie
yeah.
Pyle Festival every year.
That's right.
Very small
Ernie's,
town.
typewriters.
Yeah.
And, house you grew up in?
Absolutely. It's still there. Yeah, I know. Yeah. So, I have lived many, many lives. When I went to college, I went to Indiana State in Terre Haute. Go Trees! And started out as a music business major, but then
music business.
Yeah, I wanted to open a music store. That was my dream. And the first
You're
floor.
Also a musician.
I am. I play the flute. I've played the flute since I was in 5th grade. I still play.
Lizzo.
Yes, right? Exactly. We have lots in common. Yes. I'm not quite as famous as her, but I can try. Yeah. Then when I was in, and then, music theory is really, really hard. And so I wasn't able to get past music theory like so many of my peers. So I ended up changing my major to English. And so I finished college, came back to Indianapolis, which is where my heart was. Even though, my family was in Western Indiana, I came back here and then started to work at the corporate office of Steak and Shake. Yeah. So I worked there for 10 years in the recruiting department, and that's where I learned that all the ins and outs of corporate America.
How long were you there?
I was there for 10 years. Wow. So, and it was an interesting time for maybe some of your younger listeners. Some of the stories that I have from that establishment are, we could wear sandals in the office, but we had to wear pantyhose with our sandals. So it was pretty old school, pretty conservative. Mm-hmm. In 2008, I left there and I went to work for a small nonprofit called Bands of America. Okay. And for those of your listeners who maybe don't know who that is, they are most well known for producing marching band competitions across the country in the fall. But they also do a National Concert Band Festival, a jazz festival, and they do a band camp at Ball State for almost 12,000 students. So it's a really big organization now, run by very few people. So they only have about 30 employees. Mm-hmm. And when I was there, I was the human resources and education manager. So I would contract with all of the judges who come to, talk about the competitions and give awards and those sorts of things. I was there for about 3 years. Had my son when I was there. He is now 14. His name is Mason. He's wonderful. Love him to death. He's also in band. We make him, my wife and I. And then after...
What does he play?
He plays percussion. Okay. Yeah. Which is, my wife is really proficient in percussion as well. Mm-hmm. So she went to Butler for music education. Her name's Laura. Okay. And she can basically play any instrument, but trumpet is her principal, and percussion is her second love. Oh, yes, we do. So sometimes I know it sounds cheesy, but sometimes we will literally sit in our living room and play our instruments together. We're that kind of family.
In the old days, you and the Von Trapp.
I know, right? Yeah. I can remember going camping.
Well, not exactly. Did you sing too?
We can carry a tune.
Sure. Okay.
I can remember growing up with my mom's preacher friends, and we would go camping, and they would have dulcimers and banjos, and we'd sit around the fire and sing. So music has been a part of my life for as long as I've been alive. Okay. Yeah.
And do you, over that time too, I'm sure that you made a point of seeing performances.
Oh my gosh, so many.
Musicals.
Oh my gosh, yes. Oh, yes, Indianapolis Symphony Orchestra.
Collecting CDs or whatever.
Cassette tapes. Yes, so I still have all of my cassette tapes.
Collecting music, listen to me, love music.
Yes. So, although in my younger days, I was really into heavy glam metal. So, really? Poison, Motley Crue, Guns N' Roses.
I wouldn't take you for
I know.
a fan of that music.
You should have seen me back then. There are photos. I had the big hair and everything. Ripped jeans, everything.
Did you wear, piercing?
I had my ears multiple pierced. Yes. I wasn't quite brave enough to do anything to my face, but also I was a preacher's kid, so I was under the microscope all the time. I couldn't get away with a whole bunch.
Oh, yeah. Did you wear safety pins in your ears?
I did not go that far. No. But maybe now. I'm 51 now. I'll do what I want. No, but I did have big mall hair. Oh, yeah. Cool. Use Aquanet hairspray with the I had my pick, and I would hold my hair out into, sort of wings and,
You
spray the
like these
hairspray
rollers, orange, like those orange cans.
Right.
How do I know all this? Well, I had a sister.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
okay.
So then, let's see. I left Music for All, Bands of America, and
Is that how you, wasn't Stephen involved in that?
yeah, so we didn't work together at the same time, but he was there before I came to work there. But I did
thought
know
that
him at
rang
that time.
familiar.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then after I left Bands of America, I went to go work for IUPUI, which is now no longer in existence, but it used to be the university, Indiana University, Purdue University at Indianapolis. And I worked in the School of Engineering, and I was a career counselor for almost 10 years.
Engineering.
Yeah, right? Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So,
that doesn't seem to fit after 10 years, that steak and shake.
Right?
And then dancing. Wow.
like I said, I've
love
lived
that.
many lives. Yeah. So my dad was a mechanic. He worked for Rolls-Royce and Allison, and he was a quality control inspector for basically his whole career. And so I know how to change brakes. I know how to change my oil. I know how to change gas tanks. The engineering stuff always kind of interested me because of that. And I got to learn a lot about what all the different engineering types are, and then help those students find jobs and internships, which I really, really enjoyed spending time with those students and helping them on their career paths.
Boy, Shelley, that's a really broad experience.
So much. And then I'm not even done yet. And then after I left there, I was very lucky to be able to get my master's degree because I worked at IUPUI, and I got my master's degree in nonprofit management, which is another place that Stephen and I came together because I've always had an affinity for nonprofits and for helping people. Ever since I was a little kid, I was a camp counselor. I, would help out on special projects.
And during those years of working, I take it you probably belong to organizations?
Yeah, so I was a founding member of the Pride of Indy Bands.
Okay, well, of course.
Yeah, so which we can talk about. But then, so always really into nonprofits and helping people. And I think, growing up as a preacher's kid and seeing my mom get out in the community and do things, like I can remember one time a person knocked on our door in the middle of the night, and because her husband was threatening to end her life. And she brought her kids to our house in the middle of the night, and my mom took her and her kids to a shelter. And that's seared in my brain. I remember another time we were coming home from the grocery store, and someone had come down our street, and we were unloading groceries from the car, and they asked my mom for some food, and my mom literally took food out of our grocery bags and gave it to them. And this was at a time when we didn't have a lot of money. We were using food banks at this time. I can remember one time my mom, she fancied herself a good cook. She was a good cook, but one time all they had at the food bank was giant cans of tuna and barbecue sauce. And so we lived on barbecue tuna. A delicacy. So I leave, let's see, where was I? So IUPUI, got my master's degree in nonprofit management, and then I was blessed.
So were you then a single mother?
No,
my working into all
oh my gosh, I was working full time, had a child in elementary school. My wife, still, had my wife, and getting my master's degree. That went on for several years. So I was up from like 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. for years trying to cram all that in. And then left IUPUI after I received my master's degree, and then went to go be the executive director of Indy Pride. How's that for a switch? And then I was there for 2 years. While I was there, I got to do some really, really great things. I got to meet so many really neat people.
So did you basically have to raise your own salary?
That's exactly it. Yeah, I ended up.
Were you chief cook bottle washer.
That's exactly right. Yeah. So when I worked there, when I started, I was the only full-time employee. We didn't even have an office. I was working out of my home at the time.
You keep the overhead low.
That's exactly right. You had to, you know. Indy Pride has been around for 30 plus years, but up until about 7 years ago, it was completely run by volunteers.
He turned it over to you?
No, so yeah, so when we started the Pride of Indy Bands is when I met Steven.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. So Indy Pride was always kind of in the background, you know.
Okay, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
right. Okay.
Yeah.
You just straightened me out about, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And then I left Indy Pride in 2022, and then I started at the Damien Center not too long ago. So, and now I'm there, and I'm doing development and fundraising, and I get to do the fun part of fundraising. So I get to do event fundraising. So, are you familiar with Grand Masquerade?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
You know, it's been a while since I've been, but certainly, and you know, when I went, I will always associate it with meeting our friend Mark Mullen.
Yes.
I went up to him and said, "Hey, you know, I see you on the air, and I've always wanted to meet you." So that was the beginning of a long time.
Yeah.
I miss him so
I
much.
miss him too. He was such a good guy. I would see him out at the.
I'm proud of the fact I was an early board member of the Damien
Really?
Center.
I love that.
Yes, and it was when they were 2 or 3 years into it, and it was their offices were located at Cathedral. And it was we were deep into the AIDS crisis, and I lost a lot of people. I was in the buddy system.
So sad.
So yeah, I have a long history.
I love that.
I had that history with the Damien Center.
I love that. Yeah, I've heard about the buddy system. Is that where? You tell me about that.
You know, they assigned if you applied to be in it, and you agreed to take this person under your wing and just be a friend or you know, help them in any way you can. There weren't like any rules or stipulations. It was kind of organic. You know? Jeffrey was his name, and you know, he you know, we were together for at least a couple years, and it was great. You know, I would spend time with him. We do social things, but I would also just, you know, share my experience, strength, and hope with them.
I love that.
As we say, I'm in recovery, and so I use a lot of those tools I learned in recovery to help him. Yeah. Because that's the way 12-step programs work.
Sure.
And so anyway, it's very meaningful, but like I said, I was also in the men's chorus.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of our members passed away as a result of AIDS, and I lost a lot of people.
So sad.
Anyway, this isn't about me, it's about you, but the Damien Center, you know, I've watched it with great interest over the years to see how, you know, the whole sort of, you know, the whole climate has changed, and how AIDS is, you know, has evolved, and the movement and whatever.
It is
it's got a great legacy.
A great legacy, and you know, comes from really sad place, but also a place of hope. So as you talk about the buddy program, you know, community is what keeps the Damien Center around. I think you're probably familiar with the Bag Ladies.
Oh, of course.
So
and Kobe Palmer, who passed away, he was the Queen Bee.
Yes.
And, you know, I'm proud to say that there was a fellow who's passed away, but he and I organized a fundraiser on Kobe's birthday, a major birthday, to get that pantry going.
Oh, I love that.
It was at Talbot Street.
Oh,
I remember it. But anyway, I want to jump back to Indy Pride.
Yeah.
You know, that organization over the years has changed a lot, and it's been through a lot of struggles, a lot of successes, but, you know, I think most people know it from the parade.
Yes.
And boy, over the years, I've watched it grow and change. And, you know, while you were there, there's always, and you know, this is not something that is, it happens in marginalized communities, Indy Pride got criticized a lot. When are those people going to get themselves together? They're always fighting about something. There's always drama, always controversy.
Yeah.
But I know from experience as a Latino, as a gay man, that marginalized communities, and blacks will tell you this too, women,
Yeah.
when you do come into power,
Yeah.
you know, that's when human frailties can take over.
Absolutely.
You know, and money and power corrupt.
Absolutely.
And when you get a mix of personalities together, it can be really harrowing.
Absolutely.
So I've been through those kinds of situations. Did you experience that?
I did. You know, there is always a different side coming at the organization, whether that be someone who is homophobic and doesn't believe that queer people should exist, or whether that is someone in some sort of government power who believes that the parade should no longer be on Massachusetts Avenue. There was always some sort of battle to fight, in addition to, you know, raising the money and making sure that the programs were happening and making sure that the website was up to date.
How
you
long
know,
did you do that?
I was there for 2 years.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes, so there was one of my proudest moments was working there, but also one of the most exhausting things I ever did in my life.
Too, because when you're in those kind of situations, like you said, there's always some kind of controversy. You're putting out fires.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And when you're in a place like leadership, it is lonely at the top.
It can be.
Because you got your board, you got your constituent, all these publics,
yes.
if you will, right?
Yes, yes,
You got to please them all.
That's absolutely right. Yes, I would remember very vividly.
And I bet you and your wife had a lot of pillow talk.
Yes, we did.
She
I
had to
am
hear all
so
the-
grateful for my wife. She is very, very smart and accomplished. And so having lots of conversations with her about how to handle things in a compassionate way. You know, I want to be a servant leader, you know, like my mom taught me. I was in that position to try to make lives better for people.
Did you have a tough skin going in?
I felt like I did. I have definitely a tougher skin now. Let me tell you about 2023. So in 2023, the love of my life, my mother, passed away. It happened on June 1st. And I don't know if you know anything about June in Indianapolis, but that's when all of the Pride activities happen. So, you know, 30 activities. So I'm balancing the grief of my mother passing with running
What year was this?
the 2023. Then after my mom passed in June, this is going to sound like a country song, one of my dogs passed away. A couple months later, my other dog passed away. A couple months later, my wife spent 15 days in the hospital. A couple months later, her aunt passed away. 2023 was the absolute worst year of my entire life.
Quiz on you. What was honest terribles?
Yeah, so you know, I think I felt pretty strong going into the position of executive director, but I definitely feel like I am a stronger person now than I have ever been because of all those.
What were your achievements from those years?
Yeah, what I'm most proud of is all of the money we were able to give away to the community. So we gave away thousands of dollars to folks, almost $200,000 over my 2 years there to community organizations so that they could, you know, thrive in their own missions. So lots of people know who Indy Pride is, and so they would reach out to give donations, but people don't necessarily know who Spencer Pride is. You know, there are more than 30 LGBT organizations across the state of Indiana. So, you know, trying to help those smaller organizations was really important to me.
And what were your failures?
That's a great question, Tom. I would say probably,
Things that you felt you failed in.
I would say probably building meaningful relationships with my board. It's really hard to have 14 bosses.
I've been there.
Yeah, having 14 bosses is really hard. Everyone has a different opinion about what your priorities should be. And at the end of the day, we did not agree on what those priorities were.
Well, you know, governance is a keystone of not-for-profits.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, how you govern and
Yeah.
who you choose to put in those roles.
Absolutely.
And then, you have to make sure that you got a great set of bylaws that govern the organization.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think people realize how intricate it is.
Oh,
the
my gosh.
dynamics.
Yeah.
I talked about being being alone at the top.
Yeah.
Because that board, that could be really. I remember I've been an arts administrator.
Yeah.
A couple times, and I remember just the night before the board meeting, this fear at the pit of my stomach because I would have to go in there and report the agenda.
Yeah.
The financials, I'd have to present everything.
Yeah.
It was like I just knew that there was going to be somebody who was, and then leading the meeting itself,
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I have to hand it to you if you did that and you made that kind of money and you had an impact.
Yeah.
Why did you leave?
Not by choice. So I can't go into too many details
Sure.
because I did sign an NDA. But at the end of my time there was some conflict between the board and myself. So I left in December of 23.
How did it make you feel?
It was the cherry on top of a really bad year. So, like I said, in 2023, lots of terrible things happened.
Sure.
And then in December of 23, I received my notice.
Well, then, we're going on to the Damien Center.
That's right.
Next thing, a door closes and a window
That's
opens.
exactly
Is that what
right.
happened?
I could not be more thrilled about the Damien Center. I tell you, I have known the Damien Center from afar for many, many years, but now that I work there, I see things that I never knew before. So I had no idea.
Do you run across some of the same people that you had
I
battles with?
absolutely
There's
do.
a lot of intersection.
There is a
So
lot
how
of
do you
intersection.
how do you
Yes,
manage
I
that?
do. Well, this may be contrary to popular belief, but I am a Christian, and I do believe in forgiveness, and I do believe that we are stronger together than we are apart. I also believe that there is a group of people out there trying to tear the LGBTQ plus community apart, and we can't be fighting internally and fight the external forces at the same time.
Well, my friend, I have been where you are.
Yeah.
But it all boils down to me is I learned the hard way
Yeah.
that to thine own self be true.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
As long as you know that you're operating out of integrity and
Exactly.
principle, but
Exactly.
like I said, in those marginalized communities, there's a lot of insecurity.
There is.
There's a lot of jealousy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of resentment.
Yeah.
When people project their own stuff. on
Absolutely.
you, and
Absolutely.
I learned that just human nature.
Yeah, absolutely. And, people join an organization like that for a variety of reasons, and they are not all
people
true.
with the agendas,
Yeah.
and they go, sabotage. and all
That's
that.
exactly right.
Yeah, I have been through a lot of that in my career, so I completely understand that. But I suppose if they were sitting here with me, they'd have their
Absolutely.
version of the story about
Absolutely.
you, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, when you put yourself out there, it comes to the territory.
That's right. And, growing up, like I said, as a preacher's kid, I know what it's like to live under a microscope. I can remember one time my mom went to the grocery store in blue jeans, and one of her parishioners saw her and was so angry. They went and tattled on her for wearing
devil's work.
jeans, right? Yeah, wear jeans. Ooh.
Well, tell me about, let's even go back further, because it's important. It's important.
Yeah.
I mean, you are obviously, I hate the term. You're openly gay.
Oh, yes. Proud lesbian. Woo!
But I hate that term, is what I'm saying. It's innocuous.
Sure.
Openly gay.
Yeah.
At one time it meant something, but now when I hear it, it's like, I roll my eyeballs. But you how long have you lived openly? Tell me about your coming out process.
Sure. Yeah. So I like to.
Preacher's kid.
Preacher's kid. Didn't know that being a gay was an option until I was 20 years old. So I didn't see gay people. I knew gay people, but I didn't know they were gay until after I was in college. No. So my mom had a really, really good friend, and I won't name his name because I don't think he's publicly out, but he was a political leader in town, and I knew him, from the time I was in 7th grade. And when I got into college, I found out for the first time that he was queer, and it just blew my mind because I never knew. We never talked about it. So, but once I got to college, I was exposed to a lot of different cultures that I hadn't been exposed to before, and then it opened my eyes, and I was like, oh, this is what it's supposed to feel like when you see someone that you're attracted to. Because I had been pretending for 20 years that I was really attracted to these men in my life. But turns out I didn't know what attraction was until I fell in love with my first girlfriend, Lisa Munoz. Woo! So I was 23 when I came out. I did, yeah. I did. It was wonderful to finally come out. I was on top of the world. I was so happy I would tell anybody. Oh, gross. So now that I look back on it, I was in denial. I didn't know I had a choice. I didn't know that there were other options out there. That's why I think it's important that, the quote that you can't be what you can't see. So I think it's important for people to be vulnerable.
Catholic, so there was that
sure.
too, the religion.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Luckily, non-negotiable, black and white.
Yeah, luckily my mom
Adam
was.
and Eve and all that stuff.
Yeah, not Adam and Steve,
yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
Luckily my mom was very open, and when
is that a liberal congregation?
United Methodist, it depends on if you are a Northern State United Methodist or an African Continent United Methodist, right? Because there are different ones. I don't know. There's been lots of debate about that in the United Methodist Church as of late. I'm a member of Broadway United Methodist, and I love that congregation. They are open and welcoming to queer people.
That's where the Indianapolis Men's Chorus rehearsed for a long time.
That's where the Pride of Indy Bands started.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was a member there, and
you sang concerts there.
yeah, beautiful sanctuary. Yeah,
Oh my goodness, yeah.
yeah. My wife and I were married there twice.
John Alshire at one time.
Okay,
He was with the Damien Center.
Okay.
And he actually is clergy.
Oh,
I think
nice.
He was he
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
You know who I'm talking about?
I don't.
He went on to be the CEO of the Humane Shelter.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
John Alshire.
Oh,
Anyway, he
awesome.
was with the Damien Center. as
Oh,
well.
okay.
So anyway, okay, so you came out.
Yeah.
And this is your wife. You met her.
Yeah,
what
so,
year was that?
oh my gosh. So I met my wife in the Pride of Indy Bands.
Oh, wow.
So we met in 2005 when the band started. And then we started dating in 2006. We were married the first time illegally in 2009. And then we got married legally in 2015.
Okay.
And we had our son in 2011.
May I ask how
Yeah.
you had? May I ask?
Go.
Is your son biological?
Yeah.
No?
So, I love to talk about it. I don't know if I can talk about it on the radio, but I will.
Okay.
So my wife and I knew exactly what we wanted to do, and I carried him, and we went to an online sperm bank, and we sent the sperm bank photos of my wife, Laura, when she was a baby, and they matched the donor to as close as they could to her. And now when people see my wife and my son together, they think that she had him. And it makes me so mad because I did all of that work. I grew that human.
That is so fascinating. So how is he doing with this all?
I think that he is a very upstanding young man.
And, I have experience with many women friends.
Yeah.
Who are couples,
Yeah.
married couples.
Yeah.
And they have biological
Yeah.
children.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
this whole notion that they're going to turn gay, blah, 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 blah. I mean, nothing's further from the truth.
It's-
Well, of course there are some who do, but it's
Yeah.
not, it's
I remember this reminds
ridiculous.
me of a story at Thanksgiving. We were in Terre Haute with my family, and they're a little more conservative than we are. And we were talking around the table about my son, and I said to them, well, we think he's straight, but we're going to love him anyway. Right? So kind of a flip on that, you're straight unless proven otherwise. He's a kind young man, and that's what I hope for. And he's a teenager right now, so we're going through some stinky phases, but I'm sorry, say that again.
Has he been bullied that you know of?
So when he was young, like in elementary school, there was a time that he came home and he was crying because one of his friends said, well, at least I have a dad. Yeah. So, he doesn't talk to us too much about bullying these days because he's so locked into his teenager mode. But we have tried to prepare him.
The kids are much more accepting, are they not?
I believe so, yeah. So even in his elementary school, in IPS school, they had a gay student alliance, and he was a member of it, even though he wasn't
And
queer.
A lot of the faculty people also are more
Open to it.
educated and open to
Absolutely.
younger, if they're younger.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back to the Damien Center.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you were in charge of the fun stuff.
Yeah, the fun stuff, the event fundraising. So, the Grand Masquerade, which is a gala that happens in October every year for between
And you're
800 and
hard at work the
1,200
next year's
people.
already, I
Oh my
bet.
gosh, yes, we already have the date, October 24th.
And
So.
you're looking for sponsors and stuff.
Looking for sponsors. If you would like to have your message in front of 800 to 1,200 open-minded Hoosiers, reach out to me. I'd be happy to
It's
sign you
become a
up.
pretty mainstream event.
It is pretty large, right?
So for people listening,
Yeah.
a lot of straight people.
Oh my gosh, I would say 65% of the people at the event
Did you ever
are.
get pushback from the gay community? It's like, why are
Right.
there so many straight people
Right,
there?
right. Why can't we have an
Why
event
have
just
we
for
lost our
us,
culture? You
right?
guys are like,
Right. People, in theory, being queer is more accepted now, depending on where you are in the country.
Tell
Yeah.
me, let's talk about that.
Yeah,
term,
please.
Queer. I'm 78.
Yeah.
I really cringe when
I
I
bet
hear
you
that
do.
word, and
Yeah.
people my age will tell you that.
Yeah.
Because I grew up in a time that
Yeah.
it was just the worst insult.
Yeah.
Pejorative, hate.
Yeah.
And then when younger people took it and
Yeah.
owned it, made it their own.
Yeah.
I went through the same thing
Sure.
as a Latino. You call
Yeah.
yourself Hispanic,
Right.
Latino,
Latinx,
whatever, black
yeah.
people, same thing.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, who decides this stuff?
Right. Yeah. Well, I think each individual person has to decide
I know.
what language is best for
But
them.
I do cringe, and I admit that.
Yeah,
But, I'm trying to
that's
just
valid.
get past that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
just get over it.
That's
I mean,
right,
it's-
yeah.
It doesn't mean anything. It's
Right.
fun.
Right. And it's
right?
kind of, so you think about, all the, alphabet soup, LGBTQ plus AII plus, right?
Yeah.
You could take it several different ways, but queer is a sort of umbrella term for most of those identities. And, some people say that using the word queer in society is a way for you to take the power of the word back. You can't use it as a hateful slur if I'm using it as a loving term for my
And,
community.
and a lot of haters just really hated that we stole the word gay.
Sure,
That used
sure.
to mean something completely different. We made it our
Absolutely.
own,
My granny, who was a carny, her and my grandy used to go around the country and sell feathers and cowboy hats and turquoise jewelry at county fairs. And she used to say, she used to write poems. And in one of her poems, she uses the word gay. And in another one of her poems, she uses the word queer to mean, happy, jovial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when I was a little Catholic kid growing up,
Uh-huh.
across the street there was a barber.
Uh-huh.
And we were all told it's kind of quiet, but we people made it very clear that he is queer.
Yeah.
So you need to stay away from him.
Oh, that's so
And
sad.
it instilled this fear in me, and I'm
Sure.
and I think about him all the time and what hell he must have gone
It's
through.
right, so sad. And to have a business that is dependent on traffic and to have people talk badly about you and then not come visit your business, that's not only affecting their psyche, it's affecting their livelihood, right? Yeah.
Yeah. What was the influence that made you so comfortable in your skin that you could have that kind of life? That you
Well, probably my mom. I mean, I know I talk about my mom a lot, but
That's okay. No,
she,
that's important.
it is important. She's why I am the way I
I'm
am.
cut from my mother.
Same, yeah.
I hear my mother sometimes, and it's like, oh my God, I sound like her.
I know I sound
talk
like
to my
her.
cats.
I even have the same rhythm of my voice sometimes that she did. My sister and I are both like that.
Did
So
she ever meet your wife?
Oh
do you
yeah,
still have your mom?
no. So she passed in 2023.
Oh, okay.
And
that's right. I'm sorry.
but
yeah,
yes,
she was part of that terrible year.
yes, yeah. So my first wedding, she was able to read a poem. She wasn't able to perform the ceremony because it would have impacted the possibility that she would not get her pension. And so, but she was more heavily involved in our second wedding, the one that was legal. So yeah, she was very supporting from the very beginning. She was supportive. And I probably get a lot of my confidence from her. So she would always tell me how proud she was of me and how she, knew that I was going to do important things, and that it was my goal of life to go out there and be good to people. Yeah.
You've not mentioned your father.
So he is a retired mechanic from Allison Rolls-Royce. He currently lives in a nursing facility in Terre Haute, and we had a difficult relationship. They divorced when I was 10, so we didn't spend as much time together as we did with our mom. We would see him on weekends sometimes. He would come. I remember him coming over and fixing the lawnmower. And they had a good relationship, just weren't married anymore. Yeah. So he was supportive. He was loving. He was an older gentleman of a certain generation who didn't talk about feelings. Yeah.
He thought you should.
Yeah, and you don't talk about feelings, and you keep things private and in the family, and very old school in that way.
Is he German?
Probably part German. Yeah, my last name is Snider. It used to be Schneider. I've heard my people tell stories about how
German or English.
Yeah, at one point, someone in our family sold cigarettes, and Schneider would not fit on the cigarette packet, so they changed it to Snider. Oh yeah. So my dad was from Crawfordsville. My mom was from Indianapolis. She went to Southport High School. Yeah.
Okay.
Deep
Did
roots.
the ancestors come off of Ellis Island?
I'm not sure. I know that my grandparents, one of them was from AMO, just on the west side of Indianapolis.
Oh, yeah.
Out by Danville.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then my other grandma was from Newcastle.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love the West Side.
Me
because
too.
There's history, the Slovenians
Yeah.
who lived there, the Irish,
Yeah.
the Romanians.
Yeah.
The people who worked in the meat packing
Yeah.
plants and
Yeah.
built the railroads.
Yeah.
I lived in one of those houses that was probably lived in by a working man.
Yeah,
Those
sure.
cottages.
Sure.
A shotgun.
Sure. Yeah, working man, like working man's friend.
I can see
Yeah.
the Slovenian church spire from
Yeah.
my back.
That's neat. Yeah, that's neat. That's neat.
I love the West Side.
Me too. Me
Yeah.
too. It's got my heart.
Okay, so Damien Center once again. So
Yeah.
you got the masquerade, but what other kinds of
Yeah, so
fundraisers and stuff
you're
in charge of?
Yeah, so we also do the World AIDS Day events, which happen in December. We also will participate in the AIDS Walk, which happens in September. We also will do Dining Out for Life. So this is another one of our big ones. So where 50 plus restaurants from across the city will donate a portion of their proceeds from that meal back to the Damien Center every year. This is going to be our 32nd year of doing this activity. It'll happen April the 30th in 2026.
Okay, so let's talk about, and you can play devil's advocate.
Sure.
Okay, so those people say, why should I support AIDS? Why are those people still getting AIDS? I mean, there's so many other causes that demand our money or attention. What is up with that? I mean, why are we still?
Sure.
Why are they still asking for money?
Sure, because it's still a problem, right? Yeah. So in the 80s, we discovered this horrific disease that killed so many people, and not a lot of attention was paid to those people. I don't know if you've seen these photos of the men's chorus in California, and they show a photo of their group that is in the chorus, and then they show a photo of what it looked like after the AIDS crisis came through their town, and of the 100 people that used to be in the choir, they only have 15 left. That's how many people passed away.
I lived it.
Yeah.
I went to we sang a memorial service to
Yeah.
members. I
Yeah.
don't know if they still do the program. I think they do because Stephen's in charge.
Yeah.
And he has compassion, and he's taking care of the alumni.
Yeah.
And they used to have a section in memorial. And
Yeah.
they list all the guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I lived through that.
We recently found in one of our storage units a box full of photo albums that go back to the 90s, and some of the photos from back then are hysterical. I plan to take some of those and do some sort of art project with it.
Well, and when I was involved with the Damien Center, I just had so many personal contacts with so many people who were affected by that war.
Yeah.
But certainly now it's not the way it
Right,
was
right.
then.
It's not a
I
death
think-
sentence.
I think that's why a lot of people don't understand.
That's right.
it,
Yeah.
And there's a lot of cynicism around
Yeah,
it.
sure.
In the gay community,
Sure.
there is.
Sure. Yeah, there's medications now that you can take,
Exactly.
to prevent.
It goes back to why are those gay men still having unprotected sex?
Right.
And all of that. So how do you answer all that?
Well, I say, first of all, this is America, and people are allowed to do what they need to do or want to do in their bedroom as long as it's consensual. I also say that this group of people hasn't been taken care of very well because the resources have not been there to help them develop new medicines and to take care of them. I can remember stories of people saying that they would be in the hospital and the nurses would refuse to bring food into their rooms because they were afraid of catching AIDS. And then this sort of like what you talked about with your buddy program, people would volunteer to go to the hospitals and feed patients.
Are you aware of Parkview Hospital? At one time, it was the only facility that would treat men with AIDS.
It's really sad, right?
It still exists. It's
Yeah.
at the corner of 46th Street
Okay.
and Keystone.
Okay.
And it sits on a hill.
Yeah.
And I drive by there, and I think of all the ghosts that
Yeah.
inhabit that place.
Yeah.
It's the only place where gay men would
Wow.
be treated.
Wow.
Specifically.
Okay.
And now it's shuttered up.
Wow.
And
I did not know that.
Yeah,
Wow.
it really should be on sort of a history of Indianapolis.
I think one of the things Indianapolis does not do very well is take care of our queer history.
Yeah.
So I
They
wish.
started.
Yeah.
I remember I'm a writer,
Yeah.
a freelance writer, and I actually was asked to write something for the Indianapolis
Yeah.
Encyclopedia.
I love that.
But so there is history.
I love
but,
that.
Anyway,
Yeah.
we digress a lot.
I know.
So what about, but I told you this was going to be kind of chatty,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
For those, this is, of course, for our listeners, Shelley is wearing a purple shirt with, and on it reads, Pride of Indy, come out and play.
Yeah.
So let's talk about
Yeah.
what kind of, I saw you in the Gay Pride Parade last year, the band.
Yeah. 20th. Yeah.
Tell me about the band
Oh,
and how do people,
I love the band.
I mean, do
Yeah.
you audition? What are the standards?
Yeah. Yes.
Tell me about it.
So to back up a little bit with some of the history, so back in 2004, a group of friends and I were at the Indy Pride Parade, and it was the saddest parade. It was raining. There were like 15 units. It lasted like 15 minutes, and I was thinking to myself, why don't they have a marching band? And so my friends and I went about our way, and later that day we started writing on a napkin at Basbo's Pizza a list of people that we knew that would be in this big band, this big queer band, right? And then I reached out to Indy Pride. The president at that time was Gary Brackett, and said, I'm interested in starting a marching band. And he said, well, that's funny because my friend here, Stephen McCoy, is also interested in starting a marching band. And so Stephen and I were connected to each other, and then we just became fast friends, and we started a band. And so we started recruiting people to help with the logistical things. We needed money, we needed instruments, we needed a rehearsal space, and we made that happen. We marched in our first parade in 2005, and then the rest is history, as they say. We just celebrated our 20th anniversary, which blows my mind. I don't even think of myself as being old enough to have been a founding member of an organization that's 20 years old. But now we have a thriving membership. We are 60 plus members strong. We have a concert band, a jazz band, a marching band, a really phenomenal group called Geeks and Grooves. They're a saxophone ensemble that plays really fun things like pop music, and no audition required, no membership dues. Two of the things I hear the most from people when they are hesitant to join are that they don't have an instrument or that they haven't played in 10 plus years. And I always say to them, we are blessed with lots of musical instruments in this community. And so if we can find you an instrument if you want to come and play. And also we have one of my favorite people in the band. His name is Bob Stuper. He played trumpet in college, and he hadn't played in 20 years. And then he came and he played with the Pride of Indy, and now he's our first chair trumpet player. So it's in there. You just need to work your chops out a little bit. We do. Chris Forsythe is our volunteer artistic director. Nobody in the organization gets paid. He's been the artistic director for ages, and he is a blessing to the group. So he works at a little place called Music Travel Consultants. They take high school groups to places like Tournament of Roses Parade and that sort of thing. And speaking of Tournament of Roses Parade, the Pride of Indy Bands is part of a national organization called Pride Band Alliance. There are about 30 big gay bands, as I call them, across the country. And once a year we get together and do a conference. And twice we have marched in the inauguration parade for President Barack Obama. And in 2027, for the first time, we are going to be marching in the Tournament of Roses Parade in Pasadena, California. And my wife will be the artistic director. So we're like 250 queer musicians marching in Pasadena. We're really, really excited about that.
In past parades, I noticed that on a few occasions that our own Pride Parade, I know maybe, these were, I don't think these are the years that you were in charge. But there was a time when, you would have at least maybe a couple of other bands.
Sure.
Cincinnati and
Columbus. Yeah. So,
participating?
it's voluntary. So, and, the tides change from season to season, so it takes a lot of work to get.
For me, I wish I would like to see
more. Absolutely.
Because that's what parades are all about.
Absolutely.
I'm a critic.
Sure.
It's a parade.
Yeah.
Why isn't there more music?
There should be more music. Right.
Now
right.
It's all recorded. I'm
Yeah.
a purist,
Sure. I get that.
But I've been putting a lot of thought into the whole parade business anyway.
Yeah.
And the gay pride in our culture has changed so radically. It has become family friendly. But
Sure.
I believe, as an old timer, that we've lost a lot as a result. But we asked for it, and now we have it.
Now you have it. You have acceptance, but that also means that you have to accept other people in our spaces.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it goes
that's
both
right.
ways.
That's
But,
right.
That's neither here nor there. It's
That's
just, right. Nevertheless, what it all boils down to is that, it's a whole. We have a whole. The problems we have now are better than they used to be, but we still deal.
Absolutely.
My having this platform to talk to you about this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't take it for granted.
No, I'm jealous of your job. I want to learn more. I want to do what you do.
Well, like you.
Yeah.
I encourage everybody listening, don't be afraid to reinvent yourself.
Sure.
You and I have that in common.
Oh my gosh, yes.
But there's a through line.
Sure.
And what would be for me, I've always wanted to be a voice.
Sure.
What's your, and that's why I did theater, television. I've done a lot of stuff. But what about you?
My willingness to be vulnerable and share the things that have happened to me, but to show people that hope still exists. Mm-hmm. That's what I am looking to get.
So if you would put a name on, I told you what my through line is. I'm a communicator.
Okay.
Well, I didn't say that. That's what I am. I'm
okay.
When I said I wanted to be a voice. What would be
inspirational?
Okay.
Yeah, letting people know that, things can get bad, but also there's something out there that can be hopeful.
Did you do much mentoring or motivational speaking? Did you do stuff like that?
So when I worked at IUPUI, I was a professor in a couple of different courses. And so I would get in front of, not adjunct, but it was part of my job. So, so teaching, students how to get jobs, teaching freshmen how to navigate the college landscape. And then I also started a mentor program. So we would take faculty and staff who were LGBTQ plus and pair them with students who were LGBTQ plus. And we did that program for 2 years and paired, hundreds of people with each other through mentor programs. That was one of my favorite things working there.
Well, like your mother who was a minister, it sounds to me like you do quite a bit of that yourself.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. That's what I'm hoping for.
So what do you say to listeners out there? You're on here because, you're an artist, because you're a musician.
Sure.
So that makes you an artist
Sure.
in my book. And you're a founder of an organization that's arts driven.
Yeah.
I've been a founder. So,
Yeah.
it gives me great satisfaction to know that's something that I can leave a legacy of.
Absolutely.
Someone has to start it.
Yeah.
Someone has to take charge and
Yeah,
make it happen.
that's
and
right.
I heard you use that phrase before.
Yeah.
You're kind of a take charge kind
Oh
of
my gosh.
lady.
I am a firstborn Gen X Sagittarius. Yeah, I've got some fire in me.
Yeah. So what do you say to young people listening to this about, just share what you do with your students. What's your message?
I would say don't be afraid to take risks. Life is short, and if you don't take the risks now, that wheel may never come back into your circle again. I think that's number one. I also think that ego and power are the root of most evil, and it is better to collaborate with people and assume good intent.
Yeah, and how about, why do you love music?
Oh my gosh, I can't understand people who don't love music. So it's a feeling, So one of the things that I have on a bumper sticker is making music makes you smarter. I really believe in the science of making music making you smarter.
How does it make you smarter?
I believe that it does something neurologically to your brain. I don't know the science of it, but I know that I feel smarter when I play. Also, the feeling that you get, from performing, being up on that stage, playing those notes, making people have some sort of emotional response is rewarding. Not to mention, you talked about musicals earlier. Who doesn't love a good musical? Come on. Mean Girls, Hamilton, Wicked. You can't go wrong with any of those.
You're so gay.
I am so gay.
Well, I'm immersed in art.
Yeah.
Everything I do is, centers on I'm either in a concert hall or a theater or talking about or writing about it. So it's my life and it's my passion. But, like I say to people, that how can you not be positive,
Right.
or have a positive point of view,
Right.
when you're absorbed in beauty?
I absolutely
Is that
agree.
how you
I
feel?
absolutely agree. I am so jealous. My wife plays in the pit at Footlight a lot. She just did Heathers, which was an amazing show. I don't know if
love
you
that
got to
show.
see it,
No,
but
I've seen other
so
productions, but it's
good.
one of my favorites.
Oh, so good.
So dark and quirky.
I
love
know,
it.
I know,
Yeah.
but it blows my mind that a community theater, 30 plus
They do
actors
that
who
a
don't
lot
get
at
paid,
Footlight.
right? And they spend hours and hours and hours there every night rehearsing, and they do it for the love of it, and
I don't
that's
know how
really
they
powerful.
pull it off. As
Right.
an arts administrator,
Yeah.
that they can do that kind
Right.
of theater, that kind of product with
Right.
the money that they.
Right.
I mean, come on.
Right. It's really amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Footlight.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what can people? What do you want to promote in terms
Sure.
of what's? I don't know when this is going to drop.
Yeah.
Probably sometime in where are we right now? Probably sometime in late February.
Oh,
But
great. Okay.
What,
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
do you want to plug?
So I would like to encourage people to do two things from my world. One of those things is to attend the Dining Out for Life event on April 30th, which will be a fundraiser for the Damien Center. It's really easy. All you have to do is go to the website, damien.org, look at the list of restaurants that are participating, and go eat at one. We will take care of the rest. That's one thing I'd like to encourage people to do. Another thing I want to encourage people to do is to either join the Pride of Indy Band, or any band really, just get out there and be musical, or come and see our next performance, which will be in March at the Warren Performing Arts Center.
Okay, well, you've got all these things going, so give us some websites.
Yeah, the Pride of Indy is prideofindy.org, and Damien is DAMIEN.org.
Okay, and on these websites, how can people help Damien Center?
Oh, yes. Well, we'll always take your money. Come on. It takes a lot of money. We have
a donate button.
We do. So Damien.org/give. And, people don't understand, Damien, we have medical, dental, mental health services for folks. We also have a food pantry. We serve hot lunches every day. We help people with housing. We help people find jobs. We do lots of things. I know we have a brand new building. Oh, Tom, you need to come. I'll give you a tour.
There's some kind of an incredible. Tell me about that.
Oh my gosh.
Sculpture.
So it's called the Mosaic Building because inside on the elevator shaft, 4,000 people over several years made mosaic pieces, and then we took all of those pieces and put them up on that wall. It's beautiful.
I only saw it briefly.
Drive past, yeah. There's also a Ryan White sculpture in there, and there's also a history wall that was put together, and it's just phenomenal.
What's your affiliation with the coffee house?
So the coffee house, Cafe Ostera, so at 1420 East Washington Street, it is on the Near East Side, and the coffee shop is called Cafe Ostera. It used to be a bar called Zonies where they would do drag shows.
Talk about gay history.
Yeah, and now it's a gay coffee shop. It's really, really neat. And we also have art installations in there. We have free books for people to lend. It could be more popular. We always love to see people come through there. Great sandwiches and great drinks and a great staff. We also have
the old center is nearby.
Yeah,
is
right. We still
something?
have some people in that building. So we are about 200 employees strong. And before we moved to the new building, there were in some cases 4 people sharing one office. Wow. And so we still have some space.
So you got a whole campus going on.
We do. And then we also have a space up at 39th and Meridian that we don't currently have plans for yet, but we're working on it.
Yeah. Well, have we covered everything?
I think so, yeah.
Well, it's a delight getting to know you.
You too.
And like I said, our mutual friend Stephen McCoy speaks so highly.
I love him.
And I'll have to, I'll have to come and see a performance.
Please.
I've seen you in the parade, and I've been to a couple of Chamber of Commerce events where you've entertained or performed there.
The Rainbow Chamber, So the Geeks and Grooves, they're really good.
Yeah, and do you partner with them?
Oh, yeah. So I don't play saxophone, so I can't play with them, but I do try to book them whenever possible. They played at Grand Masquerade this past year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Shelley, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
And you'll see me on the aisle somewhere.
Sounds great. Can't wait.
Okay.
Thank you.
Care.
Our thanks go out to our media sponsor, Urban Times. Urban Times is a monthly news magazine which serves as the official newsletter for 15 Indianapolis neighborhoods, offering news about development, arts and entertainment, and from the business community.
Thank you for joining me on the aisle. Please subscribe to my podcast, and if you want to hear previous episodes, find them on the All Indiana Podcast Network, or listen to them wherever you get your podcasts. This is Tom Alvarez.
Who will take center stage on the podcast next? Your seat on the aisle with Tom Alvarez awaits. Follow Tom on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and make sure to visit tomalvarez.studio. Watch Tom every other Thursday on Lifestyle Live on Wish TV, and make sure to listen every week here on the All Indiana Podcast Network.